the absolute worst call of the season. That's an abomination, and enough's enough. That was not fair. I'm done.
Fists flew before the first whistle in the NBA this week. An explosive brawl between Isaiah Stewart and Eubanks Drew set the tone for a wild few days. What sparked this fight and how did the rest of the night unfold? This is just the first example of the wild week that was in the NBA. As soon as the referee whistled, the game went on, and the controversies continued. With mere seconds left behind 5 points on the scoreboard, Cade Cunningham from half-court distance unexpectedly caught the bottom of the net after a desperation heave. The party, though, was short-lived, as a doubtful non-call in the previous possession got everyone from the Pistons' side furious. It was Jamal Mosley, a head coach of the Magic, who said it best, calling it the most awful call of the season, and there is no better word to describe it than abomination. Which surprise performances and nail-biting finishes at fans on the edge of their seats? You won't want to miss this. The chaos did not season the town. The situation in Minnesota turned more critical than ever between Timberwolves guard D'Angelo Russell and Nets guard Patty Mills. Following Mills' game-changing three-pointer, Russell became furious and was restrained by officers, depicting the fact that even in the later phases of a losing match, the prevailing rules are still adhered to. The league was not limited to the controversy, as evidenced by the incredible run of individual performances that took place last week. In Philadelphia, Giannis Antetokounmpo made his breakthrough by leading a sideward pass which ended in Brook Lopez's go-ahead dunk. Moreover, in the West, Nikola Jokic, the current MVP, made a mind-boggling arcane statistic to lead his team to victory against the Warriors. LeBron James might be defying father time, but not every NBA superstar is chasing triple-doubles every night. The Lakers and Clippers are proof. While the Suns overpowered LeBron and the Lakers, Paul George and the Clippers tripped up against the unsuspecting Kings. It looks like there is a fine line between facing a weak side and getting upset by one. On the other hand, the Bay Area saw Klay Thompson return with a gap in his schedule, scoring 21 points in the opening half. This password became more blank as Thompson ended the second half without even a single point. His long road to recovery had been evident. Despite the big names facing problems, the glamour spotlight was what shined the brightest on the incoming league of another generation of young stars. During this game in New York, Jalen Brunson was a point guard and the main reason for the victory against the Pistons. He lit up the court by scoring 35 points and making 12 assists. In this way, his team was able to dominate over the opponents. Thought-provoking debates centered on the play call that ended the game, as it appeared that the opposing team's player tackled Brunson as he was attempting to make the game-winning shot. The Raptors, with a team of Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, and Precious Achiuwa, dominated the game by the horns and outplayed the Indiana Pacers totally. Did the Raptors actually manage to leave the basket for a team dinner with no problem? How come? Sacramento's Rookie of the Year hopeful Keegan Murray faced a baptism by fire against the seasoned Miami Heat last month. While Sabonis' presence couldn't overcome the Heat's might, Murray's performance was a glimpse of his sky-high potential. His play screamed volumes about the young gun he could become. But close games aren't just about last-ditch efforts. The most exciting moments extend beyond those buzzer beaters. Take Cavs' Max Strus, who drained 2 clutch threes in the final minute against the Mavericks, forcing overtime in Cleveland. But the most controversial moments and the most thrilling games were not solely the product of teams' heroic last-ditch efforts. Cavs' Max Strus did this in Cleveland by shooting those 2 crucial three-pointers at the last minute against the Mavericks, which led to overtime. Likewise in Chicago, Cade Cunningham performed an astonishing feat on behalf of his team when he disregarded the Bulls' heart by shooting the go-ahead tree. In the end, one way or another, he was the personification and fulfillment of all the things that gave him power over the whole pack. In an NBA season that's fast approaching the playoffs, the competition is intense, and in truth, rougher than it is at any other point. The Denver Nuggets, who compete in the Western Conference, should be able to play better with the contribution of their young star players Murray and Jokic. The Kings are full of holes, and their brave victory over them gave them a stronger chance of overriding them from their top position. The Boston Celtics have turned into an intimidating team, and they're currently taking their opponents down without mercy in an overwhelming 10-game winning streak. The Boston Celtics, guided by the heroes Tanjiro and Nezuko, gave the Mavericks, who had to choke, a humiliating 59-point loss. They've been decisive in their line for the whole season, and it seems the right time to jump into positions. The path to the playoffs must be supported by the fight as well. The men of blue and white, who were recently subdued at the hands of the Zeds of Brooklyn, are now back on track, aided by the shining star of Darius Garland. The playoff chase in the East is a fierce one, with the slightly more experienced French dancers entirely outclassing the duo of the inexperienced Cavs, at the lead of which are Russell and Harden. During the NBA playoffs, the spotlight shines brightest on the league's stars, and this past week, LeBron James delivered a performance worthy of a standing ovation. In a nail-biting final quarter against the Clippers, James defied a 19-point deficit, carrying the Lakers on his back to his victory. His unwavering will to win and the clutch plays cemented his legacy as one of the greatest. Witnessing James' genius on display left onlookers speechless, a testament to his enduring brilliance. In fact, the shining star of the week? Yeah, none other than Stephen Curry. At the Knicks' home game in New York, Curry, the outstanding basketball player widely regarded as the best professional in the world, put on a show for the fans. The first quarter was a bit of a struggle as he searched for his rhythm, but once he found his groove, it was a vintage Curry performance. The ball swished through the net time and again as he drained three-pointer after three-pointer with his trademark silky smooth shooting stroke. By the end of the night, Curry had erupted for a barrage of threes, propelling the Warriors to an excellent win and reminding everyone why he's one of the greatest shooters the game has ever seen. Curry not only illustrated his superior dancing style, which no one can beat, but he also helped people realize that he's incredibly well-informed and clever as a boxer. But the man of the moment could have been Giannis Antetokounmpo, who had an absolutely stunning display against the Hornets that night. The Greek god of basketball dazzled everybody watching with an incredible 45 points and 16 boards and showed amazing court vision. Giannis's mix of size and strength might become terrifying as it suits him well for composing any defense. And it looks like he has shaped himself as the major star of the new championship squad. The Pelicans weren't interested in a physical fight, but they sure put on a scoring brawl. They erupted for a franchise record 48 points in the first quarter against the Warriors. Was this a glimpse of a dominant Pelicans team on the rise? One thing's undeniable, they've served notice that they're a force to be reckoned with. Across the league, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the reigning MVP, wasn't about to be outshined. He put on a show for the ages, exploding for a whopping 45 points to lead the Bucks to their 5th consecutive victory. With Giannis in this kind of form, is there any team in the NBA with the firepower to stop the Greek Freak? A thrilling conclusion to the 2023-24 NBA season will provide the answer to that question and many others. Teams and superstars collide in a fierce battle for playoff seeding, and with the stakes at an all-time high, the stage is set for an unforgettable finale. So stay tuned for more unmissable NBA content. Don't forget to like and subscribe.